Carmen here to talk to you about homeschool. And before we get started with our special guest, Christy Carter, I wanted to begin with a verse today from Philippians. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. It says, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any excellent, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things." In light of everything that's happening in our society and in our world with the coronavirus, with the angst and the fear of changes that are happening, I just wanted you to be challenged today, whatever is true, to think about these things. And the truth is, right where you're at, you can take a deep breath and you can be just fine in your situation and trusting on God. So I just wanted to encourage you right there. And now we're going to jump in to time with Christy Carter. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here today. Yeah. Before we get started with all of my questions, I want you to tell us a little bit about your family and your home, and tell us about Old Jack's Sawmill.
Sure. We moved from Pooler about 2.5 years ago to Bluichton, Georgia. I never knew where that was until we moved there. Wow. But we moved on to about 13 acres, and It came with a sawmill.
Okay.
So my husband said, sell it. And I said, no, I feel like I could do it. So I taught myself how to do it, then taught him how to do it. And 2 years later, we have a business, and it's oldjacksawmill.com.
Okay, so you can find this at oldjacksawmill.com. Also, you're on Facebook, correct?
On Facebook.
Okay, good. And so just to give you perspective, our bathroom counter is made out of lumber from Old Jack Sawmill, and then we have tables here at the church that serve as coffee tables, and we have one really cool project that has yet to be unveiled that's going to be here. So they're solid. They're so cool. They're such cool pieces of wood, and so we'd love to give you a shout out and just let people know.
Yeah, for sure. For anybody listening, I guess through the end of April, let's do to the end of May. If you're hearing this, come by and see us, and we'll give you 15% off your first slab. Okay. We always love to give good deals. My husband says I'm a sucker because if you're nice to me, I'll be like, oh, well, So come in, and we'd love to see you.
Okay, so bring your smile down to Christy and
be nice
give her
to
a big
me.
hug.
That's all I ask.
And you'll get 15% off. I promise you it's worth it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So what does your husband do through the day? Does he have a career? What does he do?
He does. He's a longshoreman. So he works out at the port, and he is a chassis mechanic. So he works on those trucks that you see go by. Yeah.
So you're at home with the kids and you're doing the homeschool thing. And
how long? Sawmilling sometimes too.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I do it during the week if I have an appointment. So yeah.
Have you shown your kids yet how it works? Or
Jackson, yes. He's 11. Okay. So he knows how to do it. It still makes me but he does it when his dad's around.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's cool because you can teach him, but then it's also like, hey, there's boundaries here.
Yes, you can definitely cut your arm off. That's no good.
And we're not going to do that.
Nope.
Not today or any other day. That is not going to be part of it.
Right.
Okay, so tell us, of course, we want to know like the why, how, what, who, all that stuff. So I'll ask all those questions, but start with the why of why do you homeschool?
Why? That's a big question. Why I homeschool? Because the Lord told me to. In the beginning, I really thought, okay, homeschool kids are weird. They're unsocialized. The moms wear long jean skirts and buns in their hair. And I'm good. Like what we do is we go to school. That's what my generation has done. And, my parents' generation. And I just thought that's not me. Mm-hmm. Jackson was in a pre-K program. And about 3 weeks before it ended, he was going to start kindergarten the next year. And I was thinking about what to do, and homeschool was everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere on my Facebook feed, everywhere in life. Anybody who I'd talked to, they talk about homeschool. And I'm like, God, I think you have the wrong number because I can't do this.
Yeah.
I was very like, that's cute for other people. So not me.
How many long jean skirts do you own?
One.
Okay.
I do own one because I was Barbara Ruth for our practicum.
Okay.
Which we have during the summer, which equips people for our homeschool group that we're a part of. So I did get that from Goodwill.
Why have I not seen this?
You'll see it again this year, I'm sure.
Okay, I need to see this. And how many times do you wear your hair in a bun to homeschool?
A lot of the days.
Okay.
But not, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know
like messy bun, like beach hair.
Like just woke up to the side. That's my life. Yeah.
So I'm going to make a t-shirt that says messy bun, but Latin's done.
Yes.
And I'm gonna
I
wear
can
it.
make it for you. I
Okay.
can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might do that.
That's exciting.
Okay, because that's the reality of it. It's like,
It
we're
is.
gonna wrestle through. We're gonna get done, and we'll do hair later.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell us who you homeschool.
I homeschool my son Jackson. He's 11. He's in 6th grade. And then my daughter Isabel, who's in kindergarten.
Okay. What are their personalities like? How does that look?
Night and day.
Really?
They're so funny. Jackson is so sweet to his sister, and his sister is sometimes sweet to him. Sometimes they're gonna kill me, but yeah, that's their dynamic.
Yeah.
She is just a pistol, and he is just very loving and kind and humble.
Mm-hmm.
And she has her great qualities too. But
Yeah.
as far as getting along, that's how it goes.
Yeah. Do you have independent learners, or do you walk side by side with what they're doing?
Right now, it's side by side.
Yeah.
Jackson will go next year to Challenge A.
Okay.
And he'll have a little bit more reign of his own. But right now, we're doing it together. There's certain things that I could say, okay, go do this, go do that. And then I'll check it later and make sure he's on track.
You really still are in the phase of let
Yes.
me walk through this with you, which is a big component of having younger children.
Yes.
Let me walk through this with you. And then you kind of like set them more independent as they get older.
Right.
Yeah. And Challenge A being 7th grade level will be next year.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you do for homeschool?
We do classical conversations, which
Okay.
is classical Christian and community. We started 6 years ago. We meet once a week for community day, but that's not it. We do mom's nights, we do field trips, stuff like that. But that is my blessing. Those are my people.
Yeah.
I know I could call any of them at any point and say, hey, I need, and they would be there. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like, we do it because of the program. The program is fantastic, but we
Right.
do it for the community.
Right.
And those are our people,
Yeah.
So it
Which
works.
kind of debunks the myth that you had at the beginning
Yes.
of homeschoolers don't socialize.
Yes.
Like I was talking with Lana. I was like, it's almost like we have too much, like we have to pull back sometimes.
We
Like
do.
there's so much going on.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to have that community.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Is like you can do what you need to do at home, but having that community is awesome.
Right.
So how does a day look for you with homeschool, or a week? Like how do you do what you do?
It has changed dramatically.
Oh,
That's a great
Yes,
word.
hashtag homeschool.
Hashtag
dramatically.
homeschool. Dramatically over the years.
Okay.
In the very beginning, when we started, I really thought we have to have a homeschool room, and we have to have a desk, and there has to be letters on the wall, and we have to sit there and do our work all day. And
I would not want to come to your homeschool.
Oh my gosh, it was miserable. About a week and a half into it, I
Okay.
just looked at my son and he looked at me. I'm like, this is,
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
So we changed. So we've changed over time as the kids change. I have ADD. I'm like the fly by the seat of my pants type mom. But so 2 weeks into it, we were both like, okay, this is not it. So we always change. We always grow.
Okay.
But lately, I make my list, but now this is life-changing for me. I put a time slot on that thing. So I may say, okay, at 11 o'clock, I'm doing science. I have an hour to do my science. I may do 20 minutes of it, but it's helped me to stay on track.
Okay.
And that is a new thing.
That's good.
That I'm trying.
That's a huge step because I
Yeah.
relate with you
Yeah.
in like not wanting to like box in a time of we're going to do this. But when you do put those boundaries on it, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
It's helped me to hone in on our homeschool day, not just say, we got to do this, and this, and then we can go have fun.
Yeah.
It's more,
Let's pull some fun into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time. So we may do science for 20 minutes, and then we may go ride the tractor for the rest of the hour.
Yeah.
So
That sounds awesome. I want to come out and do a day with you at
please,
homeschool.
that would be awesome. We can
That's so
document
fun.
it.
Okay, let's do
We
it.
may be on reality shows before this is over with.
I love it. Will I step in any cow patties, or that's not part
No,
of
we
it?
don't have any cows.
Okay.
No.
Okay, do I have to have cowgirl boots?
Yes,
Okay.
very muddy.
Okay, I'll have to bring that. I
That'll
love
be
it.
fun.
Okay, so it sounds like your how is real similar to my how. It's like we're going to kind of have this really loose plan.
Yeah.
And it's a really big step to put a boundary of like a time on this part of it, but we're going to do it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned maybe riding the tractor. Where are all the places that you do homeschool?
Oh my gosh. Anywhere and everywhere, wherever we are, whatever our life dictates. If there's a doctor's appointment, we're doing math in the waiting room.
Okay.
Or if we need to go to our grandparents' house, we're doing it there. We're doing it in the car. We're doing it on our head sometimes if we're doing memory work.
Mm-hmm.
we're jumping on the trampoline. Anytime we can go and do, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
It's the sitting that we all have a hard time with, my son
Yeah.
included. We just want to get that part done and go on to the hands-on stuff.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you actually next is you do really well with getting up and going.
Yes.
Do you find that your kids do really well with that too? Or is that a struggle?
They do when it is exciting, when it grabs their attention. My son will love anything science, anything engineering, loves. But if I were just to get up and say, okay, let's go pick weeds. Oh my gosh.
That can become a punishment. Like, do your math or you'll have to go pick weeds.
Yes.
Somebody I know, I can't think of who it was. Maybe they're listening right now and they'll put a comment. That was me. But somebody that I know, they had to go pick weeds as a punishment. And like they would like get locked out of the front door until the weeds were all picked. They'd be locked outside.
You know what?
I'm thirsty.
Thank you for that.
I'm thirsty. Oh, well, here's a glass of lemonade. Go pick more weeds. I can't remember who it was.
Great.
It wasn't. I don't even think it was a homeschool friend. It was. I don't know. Somebody's gonna comment and go, "That was me."
Yep.
But that's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that you that your kids like to go and that you like to go and do, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
When do you homeschool?
When we can. We homeschool all year long. We don't, and when I say homeschool, we're not sitting at a desk all year long. We may be learning how to woodwork at the sawmill. We may be learning how to plow with the tractor. There's so many things. The point of it all, though, is to just learn together. Mm-hmm. I always joke if I don't know something, I'll say, I'm so sorry. I'm only in the 6th grade because I feel like I'm getting my education over again. Mm-hmm. The traditional school didn't afford me a great education. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm doing it over again. And this time I'm enjoying it. Mm-hmm. And that's what CC's all about, is to learn how to love learning, which is really fun, turns out.
I can identify with that because I remember my history education through the years. Mm-hmm. Like it was random dates and names that didn't add up. And I was like, first of all, like I have a hard time with math anyway. Mm-hmm. And so the numbers of the dates, I'd be like, this is like super random. Like I don't even know how to remember all this. Now having homeschooled, we do history like through a timeline. And then they memorize like in sentences, and so they have the names and the dates associated that now, because I have like the timeline view, I can take that sentence and stick it into the slot in my memory of like, oh, this was at this age of history or whatever. Yeah. And so as an adult, I have reclaimed my education with history.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I still struggle with math. I'm not going to lie. And one day we're going to get it. Actually, I was at a practicum in the summer a couple years ago, and I don't remember the name of the lady who was leading it, but she showed math through learning like how to learn like an abstract way. I really can't put it into words like of how she did, but the way that I took it and the way that I remember it is like she was leading us through this conversation basically. Yeah. Like, let's discuss this number or whatever. And I was like, I could do that. Like I could talk all day long. Like, let's just talk about this number. And so she had the whole group of moms like kind of giving input. And I texted my sister who was not homeschooling at the time. And she lives in a totally different state. Mm-hmm. And she's going to be on the show on one of these episodes. I'm really excited about that. But I texted her. I was like, I finally get math, like exclamation point, probably like 3 exclamation points. And she said, she jokes now that it was that text that made her go, wait, if Cece can help Carmen understand math, like I need to be looking into this.
There's hope.
And so she actually now not only homeschools her kids with classical conversations, but she's a tutor now. So yeah. Nice. And this is not necessarily like a show to promote classical conversation. It just happens to be that all my people that's my tribe,
right?
And so if anyone has found a way that works for them, I'd love to hear that. But sitting here at this table across from you, that just happens to be the subject at hand.
Yes.
So how has homeschooling challenged you as a mom? I'm totally curveballing this question.
No, that's
to
okay.
you.
That's okay.
That's
I'm
okay.
like, no, that's okay.
How have you been challenged and how have you grown as a mom since homeschooling?
I feel like every day, every week for sure, there's something where I go, oh, I feel like I'm just growing every time we get together. We sit at the table. We have morning time every morning where we do our devotion. We read, we sing songs, and we do that thing. And I thank the Lord that we're here and that we get to do this with our children. It's just such a blessing. And I never, ever, ever thought I would be at that point. You know, way back when I was thinking, I just don't want to wear a jean skirt and do all those things. And I had all these fears. I'm not smart enough. Yeah. I barely graduated from high school. God, how am I going to do this? Yeah. How am I going to be responsible for my children's education? I'm not organized enough. You know, all these fears that I had, but God has changed my heart in a way. And if nothing else, I'm thankful for that. Yeah. Just that he has changed the way I think about things, the way I want to learn, the way I want to read. I was not a reader growing up. Okay. And there's some things that I'm like, oh, I should probably read that book. Yeah. So it's really changed me for the better. It's great.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's amazing. Like as a mom, you don't stop learning. You don't stop growing. I mean, as long as you have breath in your lungs, like there's a challenge to face. And walking through that with your kids is what's amazing. I love that. For me, it's like I have an excuse to be around my kids because we have to do school, you know, and my dynamic is very broad and with differing needs and everything. And so there are times where it's like, you have to go and do this and I have to just kind of breathe for a minute, you know, and then there's times where we all come together and we do have that excuse to be together. So
for sure. Yeah. I've cried in my bathroom several times.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not worth it.
It's
you know?
part of it.
Yeah, it is.
That is part of the whole picture is like, this is a struggle. There are difficult times, there are highs, there are lows, just like with anything in life.
Sure.
But what would you say to the person who feels like thrown into this and maybe even overwhelmed? Maybe it's a homeschool mom that's been at this for years and she's just in the bathroom crying or whatever. You know, like what would you say?
Get your people. If you don't have people, I'll be your people. Okay. I remember when I first started, I paced the Family Christian Bookstore in the Savannah Mall for almost 3 hours talking to a friend who was talking me off the ledge because I was going, but how am I going to do this? Right. But what does that look like? And I'm not smart enough and this and this and this. And she was so kind to me. And after I got off the phone, I was like, oh my gosh, we've almost been on the phone for 3 hours.
Wow.
But she took time with me and I will never, ever forget that. And you don't have to be so overwhelmed. For the people that are like you said, being thrown into this, play with your kids.
Yeah.
Find common ground and love them well during this time and just have fun.
That's really good
embrace
advice.
It. Yeah.
So you've gone from questioning yourself to actually not only doing homeschool, but being a leader.
Yeah.
Tell us, what do you do?
Absolutely. So I direct the Classical Conversations Foundations and Essentials for our Bloomingdale campus. This is just saying that could only be God. Because way back then, Christy Carter was not a firm believer in the Lord. And he has just changed my path. And he has truly used the least of these, I feel. Yeah. I'm just blessed and honored by all of that.
I love that because when you stepped in and you said yes, then what you didn't see in yourself, other people around you have seen in you and gone, oh, here's a leader. We're going to ask her. We're going to plug her in and put her in this place.
Right.
And so you made yourself available just by saying yes. And then your people came around you and you had them and that helped you get placed into what you do. Were you looking to actually step into leadership?
No. And it was truly the Lord because I got off the phone and I said, what did I just do? Like, I just said, yes. Should I call back? I don't know. What should I do? So yeah, it was a God thing. God spoke through me and said yes for me and knew that I would catch up.
Were you kind of hoping that you'd go home and your husband would be like, no, you gotta go back and call them?
Yes, I was. Because I remember telling him, he's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, is that all you have to say? Like, do you know me?
Because I'll call them right now and tell them my husband said, no, this isn't the best time.
Sorry. No, but it's been a blessing. So I'm just finishing my first year of directing and I'm going to do it again next year. And it's just a blessing.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's a good, strong community in the Bloomingdale area. Yeah. So that's good.
Yep.
Well, we wish you the best for next year. I know you're going to do amazing and challenge people and change lives.
Yeah, we're all in it together.
Yeah, I think that is the message that should be in those groups, like with assembly, and things like that. Like, this is how we do what we do, and I'm here for you. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. I'm so glad that you came today. And again, Old Jack Sawmill.
Yes, oldjacksawmill.com.
Be nice to Christy and you get 15% off.
Exactly.
But you can't help but be nice to Christy.
Oh.
You're going to get a big hug. So.
Yes, true.
All right. Well, awesome. We'll have good best wishes on your journey and everything. And thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.